Jonathan Frakes is why Riker worked as first officer, says Star Trek TNG writer. Star Trek The Next Generation writer Ronald D. Moore credits Jonathan Frakes with making the Commander Riker character work. Jonathan Frakes is why the character of Commander William T. Riker worked on Star Trek The Next Generation, says writer Ronald D. Moore. TNG broke the mold of Star Trek, the original series, by making the first officer, Riker, younger and more dynamic than the more stoic and reserved Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart. This also placed the Riker character in a difficult spot, as Will was supposed to be an ambitious Starfleet officer, but Riker repeatedly turns down promotions to become captain of his own starship to stay as first officer of the USS Enterprise D. In the oral history, The Center Seat, 55 Years of Star Trek by Peter Holmstrom, Ronald D. Moore discusses the challenges of creating a Star Trek first officer that's different from Spock, Leonard Nimoy. Moore noted that Star Trek The Next Generation's late showrunner Michael Piller identified with the Riker character and brought him into focus, but it was Jonathan Frakes' likability and charisma that made fans love Commander Riker. Read Moore's quote below. Riker has evolved as captain in Star Trek Picard. It took almost 20 years after Will Riker was promoted to captain and married counselor Deanna Troi, Marina Sirtis, in Star Trek Nemesis, but Riker has realized his potential in Star Trek Picard. Jonathan Frakes became a celebrated director, and he hadn't played Riker in many years before he reprised his signature role in Star Trek Picard Season 1. Along with his appearances in Star Trek Lower Decks, fans were introduced to Captain Will Riker of the USS Titan, who finally left Captain Picard's shadow and headed up his own starship as a husband and father. Jonathan Frakes is credited with delivering his finest performances ever as Captain Riker in Star Trek Picard Season 3. Along with directing 2 episodes of Picard's final season, Frakes brought even more depth, charm, pathos, and nuance to the role of Riker as he asserted his own command authority over Admiral Picard, resolved his marital issues with Troi, and saved the galaxy alongside the reunited crew of Star Trek The Next Generation. Hopefully, Jonathan Frakes' wish for Riker's next logical step comes true, and he portrays Admiral Will Riker in Picard's proposed spin-off, Star Trek Legacy, if it happens.